to Streaming Rainbow.
Hi.
Oh, David, you've never looked better.
Thank you. I've just started Ozempic.
No. Hate it. That's the guy.
My friend, Guy Fierby.
Guy Fieri.
I have to go.
We just
You
got
can't
here.
make an Ozempic joke and then me also see Guy Fieri.
And on that note, I think it's a really great way to start off this end of Rainbow for the second season of Gillyton. Because truly, we reached a level of unhinged that, like, it took me a while to process and get back from it. So,
It's a lot like
by the way,
grief.
guys, you guys might notice that my background doesn't look the same. I ran away from home and I'm in a different country right now. So I'm also jet lagged. So
That's London, isn't it?
and I'm in jolly old London, England.
Tuesday, innit?
Tuesday.
Is anybody
So-
viewing from London, England?
Hey,
I'm
guys.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're in England too.
Yeah, and now, okay, so
I'm
Tom, I'm talking to you, Tom.
specifically, I aggressively
out.
love this man, Tom, but
I do
okay,
love it.
anyway.
He's so smart.
The best man. Okay, anyway. So yes, welcome everybody. Before we get started, like, subscribe, get in the Discord. Please do all the things. We would love to see you and talk with you and just nerd out with you in general and share funny memes. And I will welcome back for the last time this season my players. We have Sarah as Kaylee. Can I say that I'm turned around because I'm on the different side of the road? Like I'm in England, not that I just never get it right. Cameron as Mr. Sunset, David as Tez, and Jess as Snips the Goblin. So
It's a goblin, isn't it?
it's goblin in it.
Goblin, innit?
I'm
Snips
leaving.
and snails.
Snips and snails.
So I guess my question for you guys, because this is the second season of this, what'd you like about it? What didn't you like about it? How did it go?
Well, I have a new benchmark for unhinged now. So it's changed me. Now I will always think about a horse in a city hall
Yeah.
as my benchmark.
Yeah.
Honestly, beating the pink Cadillac through a police station, that warms my heart.
Yeah. I think it was, I don't know, there was something really like frightening about Cameron as the horse. Yeah, no, it was Waterloo as that horse. Something changed him. Yeah. More so than Lisa Waterloo. Lisa Waterloo was crazy, but the horse was like
The horse was so mad that it couldn't hypnotize people that it had to resort to rage, and that
like physical violence.
It reminded me of like one of those like crazy B movie, like 80s B horror movies, like the one where like the tire goes on a murdering spree or something.
yeah.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like
That's
sitting here and I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
that's the image I had in my head. Like it was like dark and foggy, and this horse was like bright white with like fucking psychedelic eyes, just murking people. That was the vibe. I'm glad it caught on.
It was also I in high school there was this like youth employment program with our city. So I worked in City Hall 2 summers in a row. And so I like had a face to the record keeper and to like the security guard, and like the layout was like visceral to me. And like it was just so real. And I was just picturing this poor woman whose name I won't name right now. Because you like described her as like having anxiety too. And I was like, oh my God, it's like almost perfect. and I was just imagining them scared, hiding behind like a half door, like a barn door, and that just being obliterated into splinters as a large white stallion with insane goat eyes. It's just like
It's
I was like trying to process it as I was watching. It was hard.
Yeah.
See, I saw it as a cartoon, and that's why it was okay.
Oh yeah. I had to take a beat after that episode and like actually let it set in what happened.
Yeah, Emily was like, "Are you all right?" I was like, "I don't know.
I don't know, actually.
I guess."
I think you guys
any of
can
us?
see me processing it over more than a couple of the following sessions.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
As a DM, I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
And it was like all the downstairs stuff still kind of made sense, right? He's like, "I spare the security guard. I spare the record keeper." But then when he was like, "I turn his brain into hamburger meat," I was like, "Oh, this is
Oh,
this is
so that was personal.
yeah." God, I didn't like the mayor either, but like, damn boy.
Damn.
Who the fuck has a statue of themselves in a river Styx fountain? That guy needs to die.
Someone important to the plot, probably.
Well, here's the thing. He was like, he made a deal with the devil and died already and got trapped here. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
I was in the right.
I wonder who his collateral was.
Yeah.
And that
Doesn't
was
matter.
still the second most upsetting thing that happened in the city hall. I was so fucking mad that we couldn't figure out the damn door puzzle. We just rolled like such shit. I was just like, I fucking hate this game.
Yeah, the egg fart demon door.
God, I made this idiot ranger.
I will say that was I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was just going to say the problem was that you had somebody who figured out the puzzle. He just aggressively wasn't big on sharing
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the time.
And he also just like decided to like go, yeah, no, and just left and left it to sunset to solve the problem. He was like, "Oh, I get it, but sayonara, suckers."
Oh, fuck
You just
you.
wanted attention.
Oh, fuck you!
Waterloo just wanted people to play with him, and nobody would play with him. They're like, we don't like it here. We're in hell. Oh, we're trapped. And Waterloo was like, my home life is shit, y'all. I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
My personal favorite Snips update was the tactical baby Bjorn.
Yeah,
That was my favorite. Just being able to like unbuckle and like somersault into battle was my favorite thing.
Yeah. If it wasn't, it's actually gave me ideas for like a real
Product.
like as a DM. No, not a real product.
Oh,
like, as a
I was
DM.
like, hi,
For, like,
sharks.
Yeah, like welcome, sharks.
Welcome, sharks.
You ever
Do
in
you
a
want
war
your
zone?
baby to fight?
Yeah.
Tactical baby Bjorn.
You ever want to kick a toddler, but you can't because it's illegal? Teach your kid to fight and release them from 5 feet off the ground.
But like, think about how scary that would be if you were in a mall.
Yeah.
And then some dad just releases his 2-year-old
And
as a
they come
weapon.
at you with like shit nails and fucking
Yes!
never showered,
Terrifying.
screaming with holy light coming from their rod to smack you in the face.
I
Yeah,
have
that's a
not
lot.
gotten enough sleep to process.
Release the demon toddler.
No, but like as a DM, I was like, that's like a good like tag team thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it could get you into it. Like it makes a lot of those things of like, oh, we have like a cleric or a wizard or something, right? That's not very physically capable, but you strap them up to your,
Barbarian or some shit.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
jumps the thing, and you like.
I mean, so long as you have a small character that doesn't have a Napoleon complex, you're good.
Yes.
You're good.
That's the other important part. I am small and I'm not angry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but imagine if they also use Fury of the Small with it.
That's my favorite.
So good.
Well, it was good because Snips had a mount.
I did.
Like, yeah.
Oh my god! Next season, you got to take Mountain Combatant.
Mountain combatant.
Oh, and then I can enlarge, reduce you so that it'll.
Connor,
We'll
I
give
mean,
you like a little spear.
Count
Yeah,
Mount.
that's a lead.
I just go in bonking with my little staff.
That's scary.
I cast bonk. Get ready to meet God.
Get ready to meet Wild Man.
Whoa.
Speaking of meeting God, I don't know. That's not a segue to anything that I wanted to say. But what did you think about where this was going? So like the fact that like the hell thing was pretty much upfront, but why you were there, how you were there.
Oh, it was a good.
I was
choice.
pissed.
Yeah.
I was mad that we saw the hag at the end of the first season, and my mind was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Another hag."
See, we talked about this on camera, but like off stream. I need to play like a wizard again or an artificer because I didn't figure it out at the end of last season, but very early on, I was like, "Oh, that can't be a coincidence that there's two hags, right?" Once we realized she wasn't the bad guy, like the bad guy, I was like, "Oh, clearly she's related to Sunset, right? Like clearly that's the connection." And she's like, I thought she was trying to fuck with us at first, but I clearly just trying to like hitch a ride.
I mean,
or
she
whatever.
was kind
Maybe
of.
both.
She was
right?
at the beginning because there is, I mean, with how chaotic Sunset is, I mean, Mr. Sunset less so, but I feel like that is a direct response to the chaos of his mentor.
Well, here's the thing. I was operating on a meta level, which I should never do, because I was like, oh, that was already in Laura's Gillyton. That has nothing to do with me. That's so interesting that I also created a hag character in my background. And I just didn't think, oh, Laura's a good DM.
I was operating on the
She
meta
probably made
level
those
where
two things the same thing.
I
was
would
trying
never
to
think that Laura is my fellow DMs are just good at what they do.
See, I had the opposite problem of a meta problem where I was like, okay, David the player knows this. How do I get this to my idiot snake boy? Like, how do I get this information into his fucking head?
As someone with a character whose head is empty, you don't.
Yeah.
You just kind of understand all of the plot points and then choose to kick rocks instead.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
When I saw the familiarities between the sheriff and the mayor's like personal belonging stuff, that's when I was like, oh, that's what this is. This is like some sort of it wasn't spite, like that may play a role or whatever, right? But it wasn't like, oh, take this person out for me. It was very clearly like vulnerable people who like lost something or people or whatever, right? And then for some of us it was important people, and for others it was like in Kaylee's case, which was one of the coolest scenes of the season.
The level of rage that I felt on behalf of Kaylee, unsurmounted. I was pissed.
So was Kaylee.
It's probably the daddy issues, but I was pissed.
It's probably my trauma speaking.
It's fine.
I don't know anything about bad dads. Not a thing I've lived with.
Yeah.
But no, that was so thinking about that was a really fun challenge for me of like looking at everything you guys had given me at whatever level it was, and it'd be like, because you aren't there, like you guys didn't do anything wrong. That was always the case, like because you're on the whole decent people. Like on whatever level, like you're not like go to hell bad people. So it's like, how did you get here? And so it's like, okay, the collateral, like somebody put you up for something.
Someone else's fault. Yeah.
Who is that? Waterloo was really easy. Like Waterloo Sunsets was really easy. Now, I mean, I won't go too much into it because hopefully we do a third campaign, and that that's a thread that can be pulled for campaign 3. The woman's stuff is complicated. Like, she was fully upfront about that. Like, she was very strategic about who she put up.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Snips was also fairly easy because he is a simple boy and a lovely boy, but there is one person who fucking hates him. So,
And the funny part is, it's not even just one. Any one of them probably would have, unfortunately.
yeah, there's a
Get rid
ringleader.
of the weak link with the tiny nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, coming up, David and I had conversations about his past, about who he was in his other life, and I was fully using that as yes, where's my fodder? Mwahaha. But Kaylee was hard because I didn't want her mentor to be the one.
Yeah.
Because that's a little too obvious and too on the nose, and he actually had attempted to be helpful. So but I really did love that scene, doing that scene, because Sarah, I love doing really emotional scenes with you. We don't get to do them very often, so that was really fun. And also I could just feel the frustration from everybody because was just like, he's a rich dude who's like, yeah. He's like, I didn't fucking think about it. Sorry.
Take the first kid. I didn't think you counted.
Listen, you're not a boy. Like, it's that weird classic, like, the first son, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Because, like, one of the things culturally, when you think about the 90s, it's one of those decades that's like a return to traditional values decades, right? Like the 50s. Because it's funny because people talk about all this stuff like, oh, I wish men would dress like they were men again, talking about like modern times. But it's like, yo, homeboys were wearing crop tops and had long hair, metal hair, and were wearing makeup in the 80s. In the 70s, you could not find an inseam longer than 5 inches. Right? Like, what are we talking about? Right? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? In the early 1900s, there's not baby pictures of our early presidents not in like little dresses, because that's what little kids wore, right? So the 90s has that weird, like, hyper misogynistic, like, return to traditional values bullshit that pairs well with, like, if you want to have a reckoning of like fantasy, right? Like, that whole thing fits in of like, well, yeah, of course the firstborn girl doesn't count, kind of bullshit, right? Because like that was I mean, we've all seen those like crazy one-off episode sitcoms, right? Whether it's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with his dad, or Boy Meets World, like Corey with his dad. Like, there's always that like one fucked up dad that's like really cool at first, and then is like, oh, you suck. You suck because you can't make an emotional connection with your child.
He says something all out of pocket, and you go, "Oh, you're one of those."
Oh, you're one of those fucking idiots. And they always had a leather jacket and a motorcycle.
Not Kaylee's dad. He's businessman dad.
Yeah.
Business. What does he do? Business.
Business.
Dies. That's what he does.
Fucking gets kneecapped in his own house.
No, he got like crucified. He got like bullets through the feet.
Yeah.
And there's also like an added fuck you for this guy being such a dumb shit. Like, he couldn't even corrupt another soul and died within like, he's not even like a bad dude. He's just an asshole and also weak. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, he's also just a bad businessman. Like, he wasn't good. He wasn't good at being a merchant.
Which is how I got him.
Trump.
Yeah.
Sorry you have Trump as a dad, Kaylee.
That's why you shot him in the feet.
I him in the feet.
The gun.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with like Emily, my partner, a little bit earlier, right? Of like, yeah, I think if like, because we were talking about books, I don't want to like slander anybody, right? But like some book talk recommendation we both found, and we'll try anything, right? But it was like, no, like the bad guy's not compelling enough, because he's like, you have to have one of two things: either overwhelming competence or like overwhelming wickedness, right? You have to be like so bad that you as a reader are like, I fucking need this guy to die. From like Joffrey, right? That's the Joffrey.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the Ramsay Bolton. Or they're so good at being bad, you're like, they have to die because they're gonna kill my favorite. And that's like the Cersei Lannister, right? The like just like constantly getting away with it. And so
those are
Kaylee's dad is neither.
Yeah, but those are my favorite bad guys. Are just like the smarmy little butt fucks who, by some grace of whatever god is out there, get off scot-free. And you're like, but you should not. It's just like gnawing at your soul. So you have to watch until that guy dies.
Yeah. That's how I feel about the self-righteous think they're doing the right thing villains, the Claude Frollo complex. Ooh, those are the ones for me that I'm just like, nope, I'm not going to stop watching until he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, Claude Frollo has a mountain of things. Like
so many.
I could truly write like a 10-page paper on Claude Frollo.
Every flag is red.
Yeah.
Every flag.
Fetishization of minorities.
Yep.
Like, internalized
checks all the boxes.
Homophobia. Like, there's so much there.
Yeah.
Of Claude Frollo.
Gross.
Yeah, kids. Any if it's past your time, go watch Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's a Disney classic that got swept under the rug.
Truly, like the most like underrated album ever. Like it's so good. All bangers.
It is my favorite movie. Yeah.
Fine, I'll watch it.
You have seen it,
No,
Cameron?
I have not.
I believe that he has not. But
I've listened to the cast album of the Broadway.
The Broadway?
Yeah.
The Broadway.
It's good as hell.
Yeah. It's all good.
I didn't know it was on Broadway.
I honestly had no idea who Claude Frollo was when y'all were talking about it. I was just like, cool.
Cool.
The creepy priest, yeah.
Yeah. The down into the Hellfire guy. I got it.
Yeah, got it.
The real bad guy. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions I have. Really, okay, I guess another question I have is, now that we're two seasons into Gillyton, would you choose a different character? If you could go back and like start all over again, would you choose something different?
No.
So for me, yes, but not in a million years because of the setting. But if I hadn't played the first one, and we didn't like kind of need somebody with a little teeny tidbit of insider information, and I was going in blind, totally, I would have picked a character that was smarter, that had a higher intelligence score, and could read.
What was your? I love that. We also brought Snips back because Snips' story needed to be told more, and still does. So that
I
in the works.
love him so much.
He's the best.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that you guys like him too, because I made him for a campaign that didn't really happen, and I worked on his backstory and fell in love with this grubby little bean. So,
what do you think your Gillyton? Because if you were smarter, you would probably have had a fake life. What do you think your fake life would have been? What fake life would you want to have given yourself? Would it be good and positive, like Kaylee went from like this really hard life to like loving parents, all the money, always taken care of? Or like for Tez went from this really solid retirement in his golden years, with his beautiful wife. He made it, and then suddenly he's all those insecure, like 20-something again.
Yeah, if I know myself and the types of characters that I like to play, I guarantee you that I would probably have been some sort of poor street rat, much like Kaylee. And I think it would have been a lot of fun to have been put in a position of power in Gillyton. Like, I don't know, right hand to the mayor or somebody that has the ability to make big decisions, or something like that. To having had nothing, to having so much of it, you don't know what to do with it. Something like that would have probably been the coolest for me.
That'd be rad.
But no, I like being Snips.
Snips
Snips
is
is my bud. He's my little baby. He has a lot more of his story to tell too, so I'm excited. I do have one goal for next time we do this. I would like Snips to fire a gun. I feel left out.
Kaylee's got one.
Yeah.
For now, we'll see what happens.
I will never get my mom and dad's permission to fire a gun, but I would like to fire a gun.
Waterloo would have given you a gun.
I know. I know.
Too bad he's just a figment of Mr. Sunset's imagination.
Literally everyone's imagination now.
I will say, like, I think I'm in that in like the kind of the limbo position of like I got to be a different character like halfway through, and it's been really fun. Like, I love Waterloo Sunset, but I would die for Mr. Sunset. Like, he's my little baby.
I like him.
I do too, and like he's like the one I like wrote the backstory for. Like, it's like really interesting getting to play him, and a lot of fun getting to play like this this hex. Fuck, what is it even? What is the fucking race called? This hex blood, like half like hag kind of thing.
That's cool.
And just like having, I loved not understanding what this world is and kind of like being unmoored in this place, but still having this sense of duty to help people out. So like, I don't know. Okay. So if I did have to pick a completely new character, I think it would be like a PI, like a very like Jessica Jones kind of like drunkard, like doesn't care, but like still has that like heart of gold. And it's like, okay, guys, fine, I'll help.
Yeah.
Something about the grittiness. I don't know.
That's Gillyton. Super gritty.
Super gritty.
Super
I think
great.
I would have picked. Well, I don't know. I guess. See, I can't. I think too much about character design in the context of your party, right? I think it's a cooperative game, right? So like to me, it's like if Mr. Sunset, or sorry, if Waterloo, like I think that's the only thing I would have changed is like if I would have known Waterloo was this like wild card, whatever, right? Wild magic personified. And like I think just in general, I probably wouldn't have settled for -3 in charisma. I probably would have went with a high charisma character of some sort to at least like sort of like, you know, if the investigation part was taken care of. Otherwise, like I said, right now I have an itch to just play. Like I'm like I if I'm gonna do another mystery thing, I'm not playing an idiot. Like I can't do this anymore. It's like the fourth campaign between personal and like this of playing these characters that are just like way dumber than me, and it's annoying.
That's a vibe.
To be fair, Ted isn't dumb. He's just average.
He's just average in a world where everything's a puzzle. So
Exactly. So
yeah.
he comes off very stupid. Very simple, very basic boy.
I feel like all my other characters aside from Snips are like the too gay to function kind of dumb. If that makes sense.
Like Waterloo.
Yeah. A lot like
Way too-
Waterloo.
way too gay to function. Sarah, what about you? Would you stick with our darling rogue?
Oh yes, I could not imagine not being Kaylee in this.
Yeah, but you should have picked a different proficiency. Wisdom saving throws. Pick
I love
resilience
that,
or
though.
something.
Truly
I
the
love how
most
hard things are.
rolls. Like I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it is because I mean, finally, I got to a point. I tried to set you up for being stealthy, and then Horseboy came along. But like, you got to do your thing and be stealthy and get your 30, all that stuff.
Sure.
But I was like, oh my god, like you just like Kaylee just like this is why I believe that the dice really do have a story to tell because Sarah's dice do roll good. I've seen it happen. Kaylee's dice do not roll well.
No. But no, it's I love actually how hard things are for Kaylee. It's great because her story is a story of suffering and coming out of that, which is sort of where she is at the moment, trying to create a direction in her life that's her own, instead of guided by the suffering of her past. So yeah, I love the way that the dice have told her tale. Yeah, I want to tell this story, so I don't think that I would choose anything else.
I love that. I just realized I didn't really talk about my favorite part, and it is truly my favorite trope ever, which is the found family trope. But like, I loved seeing Tez and Snips, the father-son dynamic. Too cute for words. The best.
That is my son. I want a counter for how many times that was said this season.
That's my son.
That's my
Don't
son.
talk to him like that.
Don't talk. That's my boy.
But
You need
like,
a counter for that, and another one for I get on a knee.
I get on a knee.
Get
I
on
get
me.
down on a knee.
I love that dynamic. I loved the introduction of Isha in a way of like bringing a balance into it and like a voice of reason, because we've got Waterloo, we've got Mr. Sunset, who are both like untethered in very different ways. Like, and Snips, who is Snips, adorable, lovely, but child, not a child, we don't know.
Snips is playing his own campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. While everybody else is trying to solve problems, he's trying to find new goodies to keep in his bag, new things to eat and to taste, and to he's playing his own game.
He's the side quest.
Like
his best side quest.
Yeah.
And like being able to stabilize Tez into to bring him out of that uncomfortable, anxious 20-year-old. More,
I think it gave him something more solid to like, because like we talked about this in the character design, right? That Tez's whole thing was like, I feel like there's something more, and that was like part of his torture or whatever, right? Of the place was, I feel like I'm meant for more than this, and I'm stuck at this shitty job, and I'm stuck like with my dreams crushed. And so he went from this like desperate cynicism of I need to get out and I have to believe that there's something or else I'm just not going to make it, to okay, now this is what I'm actually working for, right? And it was a good timing when Isha came out of the fountain, because it coincided with the solidification of the Snips Tez dynamic. So it really steadied him out in a way that was I felt like allowed for growth for that character.
I also really appreciated Tez's like very 20-year-old response whenever anybody even breathed in Isha's direction. So as soon as there was any mention of Isha, he's like, "Have you met my hot wife? Have you met my beautiful, like, bombastic wife, Isha? Isn't she gorgeous?
Gorgeous, wise, strong, tall,
perfect in every way.
I ride my horse wife,
perfect hair, talented.
It was so good.
Favorite of Melora wife.
Favorite of Melora wife. This is my wife.
that I mentioned.
First I've heard it.
But I also loved the start of it where Isha was actually being able to hold a hand out to Kaylee and like bring her in and be like, hey, like you're part of this. You're, you know, because I know that that's a thing for Kaylee too, is like that was her underlining thing of like, I should be happy. I should be thrilled. This is amazing. This is a perfect life. Why do I feel like this? So
Man, I made myself cry with that. I did.
That one hurt my feelings. Why wouldn't I be happy?
Yeah. So it's a really cool, chaotic, silly campaign that comes to this really lovely like message of found family, which again, if it's not your favorite trope, then get out of here. Like it's the best one.
I feel like it's embedded, like unless you're playing, you know, like Vampire the Masquerade, right? Which like it kind of inherently has a little bit of like a PvP element. And then like some other games that are a little more like Call of Cthulhu also has a little bit of like a more survival-y, singular kind of feel to it, right? But for the most part, if you're playing a more traditional TTRPG, like found family is it's like embedded. You cannot escape it without telling a compelling story, in my opinion, because that's the way it is in real life, right? If you're going to have stakes of this person saved my life, these are the people that are there for me. Well, because that's how you create stakes for your character, right? Is like, oh, you like the one person you love, they're kidnapped by the little bad, or like your hometown burned down by a dragon, right? And so now you turn to the people, right, that you travel with, that you're with every day, that you're living with, that you're whatever, and like that's where you find your strength, and that's where you like cover your weaknesses and like all that stuff. Like it's to me, if you're not telling a compelling story in this medium without including the found family trope.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, Laura.
This might be preemptive, but the cliffhanger on this one hit me way harder than it did the first time. The first time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is like that level of unknowing what's next that is so anxiety inducing to me.
That was actually going to be my last question. So is there anything else that anybody else wants to talk about before I pose like the last question, which is about next time? Does anybody have anything that burning in their brain?
I don't know. I just love you guys.
Love you.
Happy to be here.
This is fun.
It is such a wild campaign, and it has always made me laugh how different it is from Hallie's Children. Because that's always the direct 1 to 2, and it's so like it is a little bit of whiplash, but in some of the best way possible. So then yeah, I think this is a great place to kind of a good big question to wrap up on. Big cliffhanger at the end. We don't know what's going to happen. What are you hoping to see happen? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want season 3 to start off with or happen?
Ernest goes to hell. That's the vibes I'm looking for.
If I'm going to be completely honest, this is a great setup for a time jump where we forget what happens in between the chunk of time when we enter the portal and whatever the fuck we end up being next. So it's like, I very much can see it being the start of season 1 again.
Well,
but like with different, but like something tries to like contain us because we have done this like huge forgotten quest, and we now have like the Good Place almost. Like we now have different jobs or like different tropes that we have to play upon.
Interesting.
And it would suck and I'd be mad, but I'd love it.
I can make you mad with other ways.
You can, and I'm learning that.
I'm learning that.
As I say in the campaign, it's my favorite thing to do. whenever I get that truly angry reaction, because we don't get it much from Cam. He's hard to flap. He's usually ahead of me, but sometimes I get him. Jess, what would you like to?
Yeah. So here we go. Because me as a Snips, I would love a happy ending from this one. Me as a player and also a DM, oh man, there's so much. Make us cry. Like literally it is one of those things too where if we have to battle our way out of hell, that would be unbelievable to me. If we made it out of this little pocket dimension into a ring of hell and quite literally have to work our way out somehow, like that would be insane. Or if we all got separated back to our worlds that we had come from originally, with full recollection and memory of what happened in Gillyton.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that again. That's one of those like, no, make us cry, please, something like that to work through both emotionally and also like with the bonds that were formed.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah. There's a lot that could be done with Gillyton. So, but no. Again, a Snips would be like, of course, happy family, let's go. And I was like, sorry, bud. No, day ain't over yet.
We'll see. We got some time before campaign 3.
Yeah.
Sarah, what would you like to see? What's on your wish list?
All right, hear me out. We've got Skycam that comes down into the gray, and it starts to resolve into this desolate wasteland that our characters are trudging through, and there's danger around every corner, and the title rises up from the background horizon that says "Escape from Gillyton."
Tess has a eye patch on.
Yeah, everybody looks like they've
mohawk.
gone through the ringer.
Yeah,
Like level 15.
Snips has a peg leg now.
This has a peg leg and a gun arm.
And a gun arm.
We changed genres.
I fire
hard
bullets
genre
from
shift.
Melora now.
With the
I
rat.
think- Oh, sorry, sir. I don't want to cut you off. You're not.
no, you're good. Go.
Yeah, I just thought that was a good bit. I think for me it would be cool if this like circle of hell or this domain, right, within the circle or whatever it is, was run like a big city. And like that's why hell's version of Torment was like a small town. So it's like this like big walkable city, and like that's now like we have to use like the power of bureaucracy, right? Like that's the currency of hell.
That's
Is like we gotta
kind
use
of
like
that is kind of the currency of that specific level of hell. Yeah.
and so like that's our whole thing, is like we got to figure out like how to like find the like old like I love those episodes of any sort of AP or those games where you like trick the devils, right? Or you find the loopholes that they violated or whatever. But doing that over like a short-term arc. And I am also like I think like the world sucks enough. So especially like with a campaign like this, right? Like let's go kill that fucking goblin. Right? Like let's go find every John that treated Kaylee terrible and fucking beat the shit out of them. Let's go and burn that hag's hut now. You know what I mean? Like just like full, like I think one of the best, like truly one of the best 4-minute montages I've ever seen that was so powerful to me, and like forever I will remember it, is the episode of Rick and Morty where it's the monkey fist one, the deal with the devil one, and they do, and at the end there's no words, there's just music, and they Rick and the granddaughter do steroids and get buff and just go beat the shit out of the devil at his like software launch. And then they just go beat down people who are like bullies and litterers. And it's like, yes, you get it. Like, give us the satisfaction. So
That's Gillyton Campaign 3, just all combat.
Give
every
us
episode
satisfaction.
we're just stuffing assholes into trash cans. Like
Some lockers, giving them swirlies and shit.
yeah.
Seriously,
Giving him
though, what I-
hellfire swirlies. That's how Snips actually lost his arm.
Yeah, Hellfire swirly.
Yes. What I do want though out of season 3 is for at some point our characters to learn what the fuck Gillyton was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
felt
the
like that was a given, so I didn't say that. But things like I need to know. Like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
Who's Baby Man?
Yeah. I want to learn.
Who the
about
fuck
Baby
is
Man.
Baby Man?
Why is the river Styx on this level? Is Snips not is Snips? What is Snips?
Is
Uh,
Snips.
Well,
Is
if you
Snip-
guys take your little journey through everybody's life stories, then you'll find out
That is true.
Snips' deal.
Snips has got a deal, guys. He's got a
And
deal.
Kaylee's got a gun.
Kaylee's
Dude,
got a
that would
gun.
be so funny if we get out of hell and it turns out Snips was just like a warlord, and the person who actually put him up for collateral was like a rival warlord goblin, and we're like, oh my god, like what did we do? We unleashed this fucking terror on the world.
Just like alternate universe Snips. It's just
yeah, like we go back to
badass.
like the material plane, and I'm like, I gotta find my son. And it's like I fight through this goblin camp. and
Joke's
it's like,
on you! You found the wrong son.
He's got a
It's
little
like a
goatee, and his mushrooms have little goatees.
Yes.
All of the
Every
mushrooms
mushroom
are
has a
missing.
gun.
Can you now
I'm
okay, you
on.
guys have that picture ahead. Now imagine that in Baby Bjorn.
In a
Oh,
baby
yes.
Bjorn.
Hell yes.
And with that mental image, that's a great place to wrap it up. This truly evil Snips. Everybody has the mustache. It's great.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for the second campaign of Gillyton. Thank you to my players again. Thank you for bringing this world that was my first ever homebrew truly to life. I would not have been able to make it as cool as it is if it wasn't for having you guys as players, because I play off of you guys. So it's beautiful. So guys, please like, subscribe. As I said before, join the Discord, join in, and come back next week for, I believe, the first campaign of our new Game Master Bastion.
God, I'm so excited.
So yes,
Talk
this is
about a
gonna be
hard like vibe shift.
such a pivot. So yes, it's going to be fantastic. It's a two-person game, and it is beautiful. No silly though. No silly. So if you're
No
expecting
silly.
silly,
Have the
come back and
playlist
rewatch
ready.
Gillyton again. You'll bet it'll still be good. So thank you
silly
guys
with
so
Gilly.
much. Come back next week. Join the Discord, and we will talk to you later.
And for the last time, everybody, let's sing together in 3, 2, 1.